Disciple-making movements create an environment where the Great Commission is truly obeyed. Through ministry, we bless a community. Our goal is to not only do good, but to have a natural opportunity to identify persons of peace. In this session, we will affirm the importance of connecting with a community through persons of peace. These are the people who use the existing relationships to introduce disciple makers to others within their family and or community. Because we are new to unreached communities, we do not have deep relationships. Yet, through persons of peace, we often have the opportunity to disciple them to become disciple makers within their families and friends. These are the few that God uses to reach the many. Sometimes they are the Andrews who connect us to the Peters. You will learn some of the key characteristics of persons of peace. Remember that prayer and fasting starts us on this exploration, and ministry gives us legitimate reason for being present. Now our strategy focuses on finding the few who God has already prepared so we can reach the many that He wants to come into a discipling relationship with Jesus. As you listen, I urge you to think about the value of putting into practice the approach Jesus taught in Matthew 10 and Luke 10. This approach has been incredibly fruitful across Africa. Imagine what would happen if you learn this from Jesus and then pass it on to everyone you seek to influence. Do not underestimate what God accomplishes through us when we follow Jesus' directions.
I met Kizito in 2013. We went to Western Kenya and in a place called Teso. We were there, I went there myself to mobilize the church if we can get people of peace in that place.
Pastor Joseph had a friend called Martin who introduced me to Joseph.
I shared with him a little bit about Discovery Bible Study, disciple-making movement, and he really embraced it. I was surprised that a Catholic, somebody from Catholic background can embrace DMM because it's so much closed up.
He taught us how to be a disciple maker and how to understand the Bible properly. Before I joined, I had few members, but right now the number has raised to 700 and are well off with the Word of God, and they can teach to others. Surely this process has helped me to make others to be disciples.
And through him, many churches have come up, and disciple-making movement is going on in the charismatic movement in Western Kenya.
Finding a person of peace is central to disciple-making movements because we seek to gain access to and win over whole communities and not just individuals.
We found this strategy has been the most critical in penetrating a community because the person of peace is the person that has been prepared by God. It is God who is preparing that person ahead of time. And the person of peace also has a spiritual desire. There are something that is in his heart or in her heart that's just longing for answer.
God is doing something in his heart, in his life. And because of that, he has some questions. He's not satisfied with what he's doing. So he has questions, spiritual questions. And he is looking for someone to whom he will ask his questions.